Hello. So in this next set of videos, I'm going to talk about PaintFX. PaintFX are a procedural modeling tool. They're kind of unique to Maya, and they've been around for a really long time, and they've also kind of been surpassed by things like Houdini. But they're still really useful, especially in the sense of being very artist friendly. Um, creating plants and natural growing things that are kind of easy to manipulate, easy to animate, that sort of stuff. So, they're very powerful for how easy they are to use. So let's see here. Let's get the ball rolling. So to get to PaintFX, you go, we're in the modeling menu, generate, and then get brush. And here we have a bunch of brushes. This whole first set here is if you're using the Maya software renderer. I'm not going to really worry about any of that for now. We're kind of looking for, or I think the ones that are interesting are the mesh ones, because they'll build geometry for us. So grasses and trees and feathers, and that sort of thing. I think PaintFX does great. So let's just grab a brush here. How about dandelion? All right, and then with my brush selected, I can hit B and change the shape of my brush. PaintFX are also pressure sensitive, and that kind of pressure sensitivity can be used to drive density or height or whatever parameter you want. I'm just drawing on my tablet here, but as I draw, we're making some flowers, right? What happens if I make this smaller? I make smaller flowers, all right? And, of course, we can change these after the fact. So that's kind of fun. We can also paint right on objects. So if I wanted to, I could create a sphere. Let's make the sphere a little bigger. And then back in our generate menu, we're going to say make object paintable. Where are you? Make paintable. Here we go. And now what should happen is I'm drawing right on this sphere here. Right. And let's see, there's a few things that happen. We have our transform node, our shape node, which we're going to use to convert this PaintFX stroke into a mesh that we can actually render. And then there's the brush itself. And this is where we're going to be able to kind of make the most change. So, for example, if I want to make these all bigger, I can just alter the global scale. Okay, so let's see, what else? Let's just turn these into a mesh. So to do that, you go modify. Here we go. It was modify. Modify, convert, PaintFX. Well, we could also turn them into curves that we could use later, or NURB surfaces. In this case, I want polygons. All right, so let's look at this for a second. The different components of the brush are made into different meshes, which is actually pretty handy when we're assigning materials and textures to this. By default, it turns our brush into triangles. We don't want that. So in our shape node, there's a mesh control. Oh, sorry. In the shape node of our stroke, that is this one over here, there is a mesh output, and we want quads. Because why wouldn't we want quads? Let's see. And then I'll just show you something that's really cool about PaintFX. So there's a million parameters we can change, and from one brush you can make something as varied as like a little mini building to a flower. So what's cool is all these attributes can be animated all at once by turning on stroke time. And nothing's going to happen until we give it a time range. So start time seconds is when it is born. End time is when the stroke disappears in seconds, right? So right now we're looking at frames. So, you know, one second would be 24 frames. So this is way in the future. And then the speed the animation happens. So let's just make this a little snappier. And nothing's happening. The reason is when, for whatever reason, when caching is turned on in Maya, it won't show you our mesh. So we're going to turn that off. So one other thing we need to do to get this pop up, kind of wake up, is just to set a keyframe on flow. All right, now we're cooking. So basically it's animating, growing, and then it's only alive for 5 seconds, so then it disappears. If I turn this up, it stays longer. Now they grow and they stay. And it's pretty wicked what's happening here. Growing, making a little bud, and opening up. And it's pretty easy to get an effect like that. All right.